Okay, so this is just another example of graphing a solution set of a system of linear inequalities. So what if you had, x is less than 0 and x is, actually not x, I want, whoops, let me get my pencil here. Y is greater than or equal to, let's just say -5. Okay, so I want you to graph this solution set, right? And these guys are inequalities. So again, if you want to label them 1 and 2, and maybe, let's see, let's just call this maybe the pink one, and then maybe this is the blue one. Okay, so the boundary line of number 1 is x is equal to 0, right? We're just graphing this line. Actually, might as well do both of them. It's good practice. So instead of separating them, so the boundary line for, I guess, inequality 2 is y equals -5. So notice again, the boundary lines are the equations, okay? These are actually the lines. These inequalities are going to help you determine what region you should shade. And actually a nice, maybe we can say this inequality, we know that that's going to be a, let's see, maybe write it over here. That's going to be a dashed line. And this guy, right, that's greater than or equal to, so that's including certain values, and so that's going to be a solid line, right? However you want to, if you want to write solid, right, and this guy is a dashed line. Okay, so all we have to do is graph these guys and shade. So graph, shade, and then the next line, graph, shade. So let's make this a little smaller just so I can have room here. Okay, so here is my, whoops, here is, whoops, I want white. Okay, so let's, okay, that'll be my Cartesian plane, and let me move this a little bit higher. Oops. Okay, so the first boundary line is x equals 0. X equals 0 is either a vertical or a horizontal line, right? It's a special case here because there's only one variable. So x equals 0. Again, if you're not sure what this looks like, right, you know that the x coordinate is always 0, so that has to be 0 and that has to be 0. And then again, pick any number you want for y. Y varies, but x is fixed. So I don't know, 1 and -1. So 0, 1 is right here. And 0, -1, okay, it's right here. Right, you can pick other points if you'd like, 0, I don't know, 2. 0, 2, okay, that's up there. So this is a vertical line, right? And it's actually the whole y-axis. Okay, so this guy is x equals 0, which is really the y-axis. And again, it's not solid. This is dashed, so let's see if my eraser works this time. Oh, yay, it does. So I'm just kind of making this dashed, right? Okay, so that's my boundary line, but I have to shade it. So am I shading to, the right, this side, or am I shading to the left? And here again, you can choose a test point. I don't know, let's choose, I don't know, 2, 1. Okay, so if we plug in, let me move this down a little bit. So test point 2, 1. Okay, I'm I'm using my inequality, so x is less than 0. And again, notice that there's only an x, so you're really only going to plug in that 2. So you have 2 is less than 0. Again, there's no need, I mean, we have a point, but that y, it doesn't matter because there's no y here. So is 2 less than 0? No, it's not. That's a false statement. Therefore, and let me just move this up. So that's false. So that means it doesn't work on this side, right? So it means that's like a little f, right? If you pick another point, that's going to be false. False. So again, 50-50. So this guy should be, right, all, right, we should shade all that. So that's the little paint pail. And again, another way of thinking about it, right? Here is your inequality and the arrow's pointing to the left. So that's one way of thinking about it. Okay, now y equals -5. Well, we know that is, right, so let's just say this is -5. And that's just a horizontal line, right? If you plot the points, you'll get a horizontal line. This should be reviewed from chapter 6. And again, you can pick a test point, or if you don't want to, if it looks exactly like this, right, so let me get my arrow, y is greater than or equal to -5, right, that arrow is pointing to the right if the variable is on the left, and it's either, so it's pointing to the right, but so that means it's either going to be up or down. Well, the numbers that are greater than -5 are these guys, right, -4, -3, -2, 1, 0. The y's, the values of y are less than -5 here. So we know we're going to shade all of this. And again, on your test, when you finish, I mean, I know that I'll be able to see your solution, right? I mean, this keeps going on, of course, forever, but where the red and blue intersect. Okay, that's the hopefully last example. If you want more examples, I'm more than happy to do another example. I might do another break-even point, but I mean, just let me know.